everybody, it's that time of the month. Time for some more movie recommendations, horror movie recommendations, and my horror ranking of all the movies that I watched this month. I will let you know once we are in recommendation territory where I can actually say, hey, go out and watch it. These bottom 4 or 5 or so, I do not recommend you watch. Starting at the bottom, number 28. This is a movie that it's the only one that really bored me to death. I just wanted to turn it off. It's a horror anthology. It said it was one of the best ones ever made, but it wasn't scary to me. It was not effective at all. And that is Asylum. This came out in 1972. And yeah, this is one of those movies where I just had to keep checking my phone because it bored me to tears. It just was silly. You got a killer robot doll that gets possessed at the end. You got this one segment was kind of effective. It was like the first one, so it started at its strongest and then it just went downhill from there. So it's like they should have saved that story for the end. Number 27 is Psycho, the remake. This movie is just a shot for shot remake, does not need to exist. It's pointless. Just watch the original. This is just what remakes should try not to be. Like, this is the worst remake out there. I would put it up there top 3. Like, I haven't seen the Black Christmas 2019 remake, but I know if I did watch it, it would probably be number 1. But that's a movie that I refuse to watch. Number 26, this is a movie and a franchise that I am visiting currently for the first time, reviewing them every Wednesday, and that is The Prophecy. There's 5 of these movies. I just watched the second one, much better than the first one. Was not crazy about the first one at all. The only thing good I can say about The Prophecy is Christopher Walken. I thought he was the best performance. He's the best everything in that movie. He's just funny, the way he shushes people, makes them pass out, like fall asleep. Good stuff. Outside of that, I didn't care about the movie at all. Outside, it's just nope, didn't work for me. I know there's fans out there, but hey, good for you. I'm glad you enjoyed The Prophecy. Me personally, did not like it at all. So, moving on to my number 25, we got Critters Attack. This movie brought back Dee Wallace and did not utilize her character like almost at all. She comes in and then they just shoots the critter ball once and it just blows up at the end. And it tries so hard to be like part 2 again, but it fails to have that same charm and just fun as part 2. This one doesn't even need to exist. It feels so cheap, and the freaking critters look different, and they just don't do anything different with it. They bring like this good, critter, kind of like the good Mogwai in Gremlins. You got the good ones and the bad ones. The characters, I didn't care about any of them. I got all my full thoughts out already. All right, I got a review for this, so check that out if you want to hear all my thoughts about Critters Attack. But it's just not a good movie. It wasn't funny to me. It failed. So moving on, number 24 will be Deep Blue Sea 3. I did not care for this movie, and that's because the characters, didn't care for any of them. Even the Welcome to Texas motherfucker girl in here, didn't care about her. Didn't care about any of them. They felt generic and just uninteresting to me. There's a funny death in the movie that tries to like outdo the shocking death in the first Deep Blue Sea. I haven't seen Deep Blue Sea 2, but I heard it's trash, and maybe that's why a lot of people are like so high on 3 because it's like so much better than 2. That from what I've heard, that they're able to appreciate 3 more, but I haven't seen 2. I skipped 2, went from 1 to 3, and therefore 3 compared to 1 just seems so shitty. But if I saw 2, maybe I would be like, yeah, 3 is actually not that bad compared to that garbage, but I haven't seen 2. Number 23, we got all right, I want to get this right. Dario Argento. All right, so this is Phenomena. What a weird movie. What is it with Italian horror with the music? Like, I think this is the one that had like Iron Maiden songs playing. Like, a girl would be walking towards a bush, and if it was any other director and composer, they would have like serious, like, that sound that you would hear, like generic, like scary music playing, to build suspense. But instead, you got like bang your head metal music playing as she's like slowly walking towards a bush. Does not fit this scene at all. Like, none of the songs in this movie fit the scene. Like, the soundtrack, the score, it's so wild. But that's just Italian horror. That's what I've been picking up on. I've seen a lot lately. But outside of the weird-ass music, you got some very rough acting. You got Donald Pleasance, who has, like, this monkey. I'm not sure what the kind of monkey it is, but I'm sure you'll let me know. But he's got like this monkey sidekick. And then the monkey like gets revenge at the very end. That third act saved the movie. Third act was just so bonkers and wild. It was just like, what the hell is going on? It just went in a completely different direction. It was just awesome. Number 22 is Open 24 Hours. Now these, from here on up, I can recommend at least watching these, rental, streaming. I'll let you know once we get to like great territory, but these are all good or decent from here on out. I mean, Phenomena, it has its moments, like the third act, but the first 2/3, I was like, oh my gosh, where is this going? But from here on out, I actually liked these movies. So, Open 24 Hours, really liked some of the cinematography in the third act, just the way the film looked. Used a lot of colors that I'm a fan of. I like a beautiful looking movie. This one actually looked pretty cool towards the third act. It has some brutal kills with like a hammer to the face. Like it shows it doesn't shy away. Some eerie, like maniac inspired hallucinations, people bleeding from the scalps. Awesome stuff. And the main chick is from Leatherface, the prequel that came out a couple of years ago. Did not mention that in my review. I have a review for this already, so if you want my full thoughts, check that out. Next up, another movie that I have a review out for already, so I'll just guide you there. Just go check out my thoughts on this next movie, and that is You Should Have Left. This movie has Kevin Bacon and Amanda Seyfried. And this movie's fairly generic, but it was intriguing. As I was like, I was engaged. I was never bored. But once you get to a certain point, you start to pick up like, all right, I see where this is going. But it was still decent. It's a well-made movie. I think it utilizes its one setting pretty good. I like the location. I like the actors in here. They're good, to be expected. You got Kevin Bacon. When has he ever been bad? I don't know. Let me know a movie where he's been bad. And so yeah, like I said, I already got a video on it. Check that out if you want my full thoughts. Moving on to my number 20 is the original House on Haunted Hill. This movie does not age that well, but I like that in this one, there were no ghosts. Spoiler, this whole video is going to be spoilers, just so you know. There were no ghosts this time in the remake. That was the twist. Like, it was not only the husband and wife trying to kill each other, but there really were ghosts in the house. And this house looks way different. The remake, they make that haunted place look freaking eerie on the outside. This one, I think it was just like a regular old mansion. But yeah, there are no ghosts this time. You got Vincent Price, and you got this odd open narration, like floating heads on the screen. I'm not sure what that was for. Was this movie 3D or something? I don't know. Here's another remake, one of the first remakes probably, and that is Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Iconic ending. We all know it. It's a freaking meme by now. Donald Sutherland, right? It's not the other Sutherland, but whatever. Sutherland is, pointing and screaming, like, very creepy. And then, the movie plays with, like, paranoia. You don't know who to trust. Is this guy, like The Thing. It's almost like The Thing where people are, like, being emulated. Like, they turn into whatever this alien is. Like, on the outside, they look normal. They look like your neighbor, but on the inside, they're like these monsters or they're aliens. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it. But I will say this movie is way too quiet at times and kind of slow. Just kind of slow for me personally. But yeah, loved Donald Sutherland in the movie. You even got Jeff Goldblum. It's a classic. Check it out. Next up, we got a German or Austrian, whichever. They both speak the same language, German, right? And this is a German-Austrian movie, and it's called Goodnight, Mommy, or as the Germans would say, Gute Nacht, Mutter, or Mama. So this movie, unfortunately, what brings this one all the way down here is that the big twist in this movie, if it was a twist, that's what I read, is what, it's what makes everyone love this movie. Like, oh my God, I didn't see it coming. It's such a great twist. I saw it coming from the 15, 20-minute mark. I knew exactly where this movie was going. And therefore, every scene after that was just given more evidence to support my theory on what the ending was going to be. I was like, I see where this is going. And therefore, there was no surprise in the film for me. So I knew what the reveal was going to be. So that was just ruined. I don't know. Like, anybody else? Did anybody else watch this movie and it was like, I know exactly what's going to happen at the end. And I know exactly what the reveal is going to be. This movie has a House of Wax moment where woman is getting her lips glued shut, and there's a cockroach that goes in this chick's mouth while she's sleeping. Oh, definitely some disgusting things in here, and gets kind of brutal towards the end. The next movie is Return to House on Haunted Hill. Now, I have a review coming out for this. I don't think it's up yet. Um, but this is, the sequel to the remake House on Haunted Hill. And this one's got some great gore. I love that it actually has continuity to the first one. Even go back to the same house, and it looks the same on the inside. That table, all the broken glass on it. Great attention to detail. Few recognizable faces in here. You got Jeffrey Combs once again, and he's in this one a lot more than he was in the original. And really cool kills. Next up, what number is this? 16. This is a movie that I also have a review out for already, so I'll guide you there if you want my full thoughts, and that is The Wretched. This is a serious witch movie. Usually witch movies are, kid-friendly films, Hocus Pocus. They're always for children. There's not a whole lot of serious witch movies. You got The Vivitch, and then you got Wretched. This one actually goes for it. They kill kids. This is a witch that kills children, and they show it in a couple of moments. They don't shy away. Big fan of that because I'm a sick motherfucker. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I like the twist at the end. It actually surprised me, unlike Goodnight Mommy, where I saw it coming from a mile away. So yeah, definitely recommend The Wretched. So next up, we got another Italian horror film here by the same director, right? Yep, Dario Argento. This is Trauma. And I think this is the first movie of his where his daughter was in it. I'm not sure how old she was when she was making this movie, but her character, I think, pretty sure, says that she's 16. She shows her breasts. Her father's directing this. And then the main character is always like, she's just a kid, but then he goes and he bangs her. Like, the next scene, like, he's already banging this woman his age, and she's like, are you into her or something? Do you like her? And he's like, no, like, she's just a kid. He keeps, like, driving that point home. Like, she's just a kid. She's 16. And then, like, the next scene, he's making out with her, like, not even a minute later. And then he tries to bang her. Like, the next morning, she's like, oh, I can't. I was going, like, not right now. He's like, it's okay. It's fine. Like, like, they're going to bang at some point, but she's just not into it right now. Like, I don't know. Weird movie. I love the weapon in this film. Awesome weapon. I think Tom Savini created it. He does the effects in this film, which they hardly use Savini's effects in this film. Like, they cut it out. Like, Argento was trying to go more for just, like, leave it in your head, let's make this more suspenseful, less gory. No. Like, you make so many gory films before this, and then you hire Tom Savini finally for one of your films, and that's when you decide to take the more artistic approach and suspenseful approach, and let's leave it all in your head. Let's not show it. Fuck off. But great weapon. It's like this thing that goes around. It's like a wire noose, and then you hit a button and retracts, chops the head off nice and clean. Awesome. You got Brad Dourif. You got Piper Laurie, right? The girl from the original Carrie movie. So yeah, love this movie. It's convoluted and silly at times, but really liked it. Next up, we got a movie that I also reviewed already. Shit, another one. I'll guide you there if you want my full thoughts. Number 14, Vivarium. This has Imogen Poots and Jesse Eisenberg. This is just a very bizarre film, and that's why it's so high up. Very well made, very interesting, and just unique. Some decent humor, a kid that you just want to punch in the face and kill. If it were me, he would be dead in the first 48 hours. Guarantee it, because I have no tolerance for little shits like that. And this movie doesn't really have any explanation of why at the end. There's some things left unexplored that I wish would have been explained a little bit better. But whatever. I guess it's not important. Number 13. Another Italian horror film. We got, this one is from Lucio Fulci, and that is Don't Torture a Duckling. Man, this movie was very inappropriate. You got a woman sexually seducing children. She's coming on to these little boys fully nude. She's living in the same house. It's been a while since I've seen some of these. I don't know. So maybe I'm misremembering, but like there's a boy, maybe 8, 9 years old. She's fully nude. I think she's living in the same house, like upstairs. And she just walks up to him. She's like trying to fuck him or something. I don't know. It was just so odd. These Italian horror movies are odd. And I like that the kids are the victims. We got a killer who's targeting children, and it's pretty obvious who the killer is going to be, but I love the way the killer gets, killed at the end when the person's falling down the hill, just banging, like hitting every rock on the way down. It's so freaking hysterical, but yet gruesome at the same time. And it's so clearly a dummy. Number 12, another Italian horror film. We got Inferno. This is Dario Argento. This is supposed to be like a sequel to Suspiria. And they even kind of make reference to Suspiria within it. I think it's like the name of one of the spirits or ghosts. This movie looks very gorgeous. This is gorgeous. Lots of like red and blue lighting. The cinematography in this movie is just mesmerizing. I love the way it looks. And it's kind of slow, but still I enjoyed it. And this lady gets attacked by like a dozen cats. Like you get cat scares usually in horror movies, but you don't usually get a dozen cat scares at once where they all just jump at this woman and attack her. And then there's this cripple who takes a bag of cats and he's drowning these cats in like a lake. And then this hot dog guy comes over. You think he's saving this asshole drowning cats who's being eaten by rats. And he just randomly starts hacking him up. Maybe he saw what he was doing to the cats. He's like, oh, hell no, motherfucker. I'm taking you out. But it made it look like he was coming over to save him. Not the case at all. And it made me laugh out loud. Like, it was probably the hardest I laughed this month. Seeing that cripple die just blew my mind. Did not see that coming. And number 11, another movie I reviewed for Shark Week, and that is The Reef. This is based on true events. I'm not sure how true that is. But what a terrifying premise. Putting yourself in these people's shoes, having to swim across the ocean looking for an island that might be there. Terrifying, especially at night. You can't see shit. Like, you already can't see what's below the surface. Who knows how many things are swimming down there beneath you, about to come up at any moment and chomp on you. Now you can't see anything at night. It's just awesome. Very grounded movie. Like, it's realistic. The sharks, it's real like shark footage. They never like have a practical shark show up that I didn't see. So I like that. It makes it different. I didn't see any CGI sharks. Number 10, top 10. By the way, we're in great territory. Don't Torture a Duckling, all the way up here. Like, these are all great movies. So, The Wailing, number 10. This is a Korean film. It's 2.5 hours long. For some of you, it might feel like that. For some of you, it might not. It could have been trimmed down some, probably. I would have to watch it again. It's been a while. But this is a demon possession movie, and it's just very unnerving at times. It's got some awesome scenes in it, like the demon just killing these like the red-eyed Japanese guy, or the way he looks at the end when he like shows his true self when he's full-on demon. He looks awesome. Number 9, possibly one of the oddest films I've ever watched in my life, and that is Tag. This is a Japanese horror flick that I could sit here for like a half hour and explain to you how fucked up it is. Just scene to scene, it just keeps getting weirder and weirder and weirder. You got a giant like alligator eating a girl's like crotch, chomping down on her, and then teachers shooting their own students with like giant machine guns, and then wind ripping people in half, and then a groom with a pig head, like not just like a mask, it's like his actual head. He has a pig for a head. Like, I guess it means all men are pigs. I'm sure there's a message in this movie. I'm not gonna dive and dig and try to find what this movie's trying to say. On the surface, this movie is just fucking weird. I'm sure beneath the surface there's a message there, but that aside, this movie is just fucking weird. You got bridesmaids getting slaughtered by the bride and I guess the maid of honor, snapping arms and snapping necks for God knows what reason. It just veins that are electrical cords too. Like you pull this chick, like her veins are coming out, and she pulls on them, and then her whole body just falls in half. Like, and then she goes through dimensions. Like it's an all girl world, and then she goes into like an all guy world, and there's some guy in a cave playing a video game, but the video game was her, and she was like an avatar. I don't know. Number 8. This is a movie that I also reviewed, and that is 1BR. This is about a girl who moves into an apartment, and then she finds out that everybody at her apartment complex is crazy. They all got like this cult community where when new people move in, they take you and they put you in this torture room and make you do weird exercises and just try to like brainwash you. It's a movie about brainwashing and a cult, community where they all have like their own roles that they do, and once you can't do your role in the community when you're too old or too sick or too hurt, they kill you. They put a bag over your head, pump gas in there, and they murder your ass. And I like the main character. She has a very strong arc, and I really liked the way they fleshed out her character. You really root for her. The ending was meh, a little unsatisfying, but overall, really enjoyed the film. And it's popular on Netflix now. It's on Netflix. I had to rent it on Amazon Prime for like $4, and then like 2 weeks later, oh, it's on Netflix and you can watch it for free. Fuck. Number 9, 8, 7, 7. Number 7. This is a very, very zany, dumb movie that I just was having a blast with, and that is Chud 2. Bud the Chud, the unofficial sequel to Return of the Living Dead. This is not a Chud sequel. It's a Return of the Living Dead sequel. Like, it's zombies. You got Garrett Graham, I think is the actor's name, from Child's Play 2 and Terrorvision. He's great in this as Bud the Chud. You got Robert Englund as a random ass cameo, not even a spoken cameo. He's just like in the background walking, like trick or treating. Doesn't say anything. And then you got Robert Vaughn from like Basketball, one of my favorite comedies of all time. Loved his character. All the characters are just hilarious. So many laugh out loud moments. It's a great horror comedy. Check it out. I think it's on Tubi. Next up, number 6, we got Creep. This is a found footage movie. It's only like an hour and like 15 minutes at best. And it's about a guy who finds this ad online. A guy wants him to videotape him for a day, and he'll give him $1,000. And when he gets there, slowly but surely, he realizes just how fucked up this guy is. And what he's saying is bullshit. He's been lying to him the whole day. He's a psychopath. And it's so creepy. Like the title, Creep. Like, it's creepy. There's so many, like, chilling scenes, like with him sleeping at night and like he's being stalked. I thought the guy who played the creep in this movie was fantastic, and he's just as good in the sequel as well. And I really look forward to what they do with Creep 3. So, number 5 is really not a horror movie, but it's got so much gore and shit in it that I'll consider it a horror comedy. But it's Turbo Kid. This is like a superhero, but not superhero, like Kick-Ass, where they don't have superpowers. This guy becomes like a superhero. He gets the outfit on. He's Turbo Kid. He's got like this mega blaster thing, whatever they call it. Like, it just blasts people and like sends them into pieces. Tons of gore, lots of it. You got Michael Ironside. There's excessive amounts of blood. It's very humorous. You got this robot android, like cyborg character named Apple, like the computer Apple. And she's adorable. She's hilarious. She was like the best character for sure. This movie is like an 80s throwback. This, like the outfits they're wearing, the music, the soundtrack, it's very 80s. It feels like an 80s movie that takes place in the 90s. Like, this movie takes place in like 97, but it feels like an 80s film at the same, so it's weird. And yeah, there's like plenty of homages to like older films, references and whatnot. Number 4, this is like a crime thriller drama horror movie. It's a mixed bag. Kalifornia. This has David Duchovny, I think, yeah. You got Brad Pitt also, and you got another adorable, just very likable character. You feel bad for her. Adele. That's how they say her name. Adele. Just She is a great character, and Brad Pitt is just amazing in this movie. Just a little over the top at times, but just I love his performance. Pfft, this ain't Lucky Logger. Just so many quotable lines in this movie. I loved it. It's just check it out. Next up, number 3 is a Brian De Palma film, and that is Blowout. This has Toomey from Psycho 2 and Dress to Kill also. And you got Nancy Allen and John Travolta. This is like a political crime investigation thriller. And it's also got someone else. Who else was it? Guy in the Pet Cemetery remake. All kinds of movies. Fuck, I'm blanking on his name. John Lithgow? How am I blanking on his name? It's Lithgow, right? I think he's in here. He's like the secondary villain, or probably the main villain. I like how the opening of this movie is like a slasher parody. It just makes fun of slashers and how shows how easy it is to like shoot one. Just the POV cam walks into like a sorority house. Girls are naked. Some of them are masturbating. One's taking a shower. It basically makes fun of slasher movies. And this is like 1980, right? Like this is like right when slashers were getting really popular. So this is way before Scream. It just felt like a slasher parody in that open. And so yeah, really enjoyed that one. Highly recommend it. Very well shot. Probably one of the best De Palma films out there. Yeah, I said it. Number 2 is 13 Sins. This is from the director of The Last Exorcism, one of the best found footage movies ever. And this movie is a freaking thrilling and suspenseful adrenaline ride from like beginning to end. I just fucking loved it. This guy has to do like these 13 tasks, and if he does it, he'll be rich. But these tasks, they just get crazier and crazier, and like just giving him a criminal record. And if he ever like fucks up on one of them, bye bye, game over. Now you have to deal with the mess you just created with all those other things you did. Like, just so many funny moments too, and gruesome, gory moments too. Also, with like an arm getting amputated. You got like a ghost ship scene in this movie. If you've seen it, you know what I mean. It's very dark humor too, and there's also a couple of small twists towards the end that I did not see coming, and I really like that. So yeah, check out 13 Cents. It's awesome. Saw it on Amazon. It's on Netflix, and I bought the Blu-ray for it already because that's how much I loved it. But a movie that I just saw the other day that I just loved from beginning to end because of how odd and wonderful it was, and that is the sequel to Creep, Creep 2. I was laughing so much while watching this movie. Mark Duplass, whatever the actor's name is, the guy who was the creep in the first one, he's just as great in this movie as he was in the first one. It's so weird. There's so many awesome, funny moments in it. It's just amazing. I don't know what to say. Like, just so many, it's amazing that we got this film despite how much of it was like improvised. Like, I heard it was improvised. They had like a story outline, but then they just grabbed the camera and they just ad-libbed, like just improvised on set, all these scenes, like all the stories that they're making up and shit. Like, that's amazing. Just, I love the main girl in this movie. She's not your typical girl that you would see it. She's odd. She's got like purple hair. She's fearless. They like make fun of jump scares in this movie. He's always trying to scare her, but fails. And she's like, whatever. Like, she's unfazed by it. Like, you can't scare me. Do not care for the last scene. They have to like hint towards the sequel. That's not how this movie should have ended. Like, it should have ended the scene right before that, in the woods. Not the whole like train scene. Just take that out. Then it's a perfect movie. But that's my ranking of all 28 movies I watched. Those are all my recommendations for you to check out. A lot of them are on Amazon Prime, a lot of them are on Tubi, and some of them are at Redbox. So check them out. And the ones that I recommended. The bottom 4 or 5, you can skip those. But yeah, the rest, pretty good. Let me know what your favorite movie from this list is. You could recommend me movies if you want. I'm always open to recommendations for great movies. Don't recommend shit to me, please. But yeah, let me know what your favorite movie from this list was and what your least favorite one was. Whatever you want. Let's talk in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you're still here, hit this like button and become a subscriber today if you haven't done so already, just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, Auf Wiedersehen.